such
We
a.
can't say.
Yeah.
Can't say. Are we recording?
No,
You trying?
I don't think so. Yes, I'm trying.
I'm going to get trouble with you. Sorry, Chief.
I've been working on it, I've been collecting. We're back. All right. For the superintendent's report tonight, I just wanted to provide the board with an enrollment overview as we begin to approach the 24-25 school year. Included in the presentation will be some information about housing developments and the impact of our redistricting plan as well, and how that's helped to balance enrollment between White House and Three Bridges. So first, enrollment trends and current enrollment. So this is the data taken from our March 2024 budget presentation in terms of planning for enrollment. So between 2016-17 and then 2021, you see a pretty steady decline in enrollment, and as you can see, based off of the data, that we've started to level out a little bit. The reason why we're projecting the decrease you see for next year is because we have a very large, our bubble class of 8th graders that graduated, almost 200 students. We have a group of about, what we project to be about 135 kindergartners coming in. So that's really the decline for next year. Here's some data that we forecasted from the March 24 budget presentation. K-8 enrollment being 1,359 with 134 kindergartners. I'll tell you to date, I believe we have close to 150 kindergartners. So we're actually seeing more than what we anticipated for kindergarten. And the numbers at White House and Three Bridges, you'll see in some later slides, are really well balanced. Our anticipated preschool enrollment, both in district and our private preschool providers, is 215 for a total of 1,574. Our comparisons from September opening in 2022 was 1,416, and then 23 was 1,403. So you see there was a little bit of a decline from 22 to 23. We're only back up in total enrollment really because of preschool. Our K-8 enrollment has declined and we've dipped a little bit below 1,400. We anticipate. Our school configuration, Three Bridges is grades preschool through 3. There are 3 preschool classrooms at Three Bridges, 1 general ed and 2 special ed preschool. There are 2 preschool classes at White House, which is also grades pre-K through 3. We have grades 4 and 5 at Hollenbrook School, and then 6, 7, 8 at Remington Middle School. Upcoming next year, not included here in the slides, are 4 private providers for preschool. White House Prep with 4 classrooms, Global Pioneer Academy with 2 classrooms, Berry Patch with 3 classrooms, and then Stanton Learning Center with 2 classrooms, a total of 14 preschool classrooms for next year, servicing, I think we're up to 200 students in preschool for next year. Right. Based off of here's our May 2024 enrollment report. So you can see really the numbers at the bottom are what I want you to take a look at. Total pre-K through 8 is 1,502. Our projected was 1,574. K through 8 is 1,384. Our projected was 1,359. So we actually came up a little bit we were up a little bit in our May enrollment report, and we're projecting a little bit lower this come September. Housing development impact. So this is the development that opened this past school year. The total completion was by the end of 2023, really beginning of 2024. Our total pre-K through 8 enrollment impact was an additional 40 to 41 students that held pretty steady throughout the spring of the school year. So with a total of 254 units, we saw 40 students enrolled. We're going to continue to monitor this enrollment as this year progresses, because we found historically that year 1 of a new housing development being built is relatively lower enrollment, and year 2 is where we have a better baseline. So we'll monitor this for another year. What's interesting is this is a different kind of development. I think I've mentioned this before, than the Willows at White House Station. The Willows at White House Station is a 72 unit more condo townhouse looking development where this is 10 buildings, more apartment style homes. We saw almost the equal number of students come from the Willows at White House Station as this Ridgett Reddington development, almost equal. I think it's the impact really here is the type of development really impacts the number of families and children that can live in a development like the Ridgett Reddington versus the Willows at White House Station. That's important because there are 2 additional developments anticipated. Camelot up in the White House region looks very similar to the Ridgett Reddington that just opened. So while it's 192 units, we may only get 40 children from that development, but we still have to monitor how many students come from that development. The Diaz property down at Three Bridges is 80 units and mirrors almost exactly the type of development that was built at the Willows at White House Station. So that property, the Diaz property, will look very similar to the Willows at White House Station, and we'll probably see again another 40 students come from that development, even though it's only 80 units. Camelot has a developer. They're working to do some assessments and break ground in Diaz property. I believe just last month, the township committee voted on a developer to develop that property. So I think that's moving forward. However, there is some sewer capacity that needs to be rectified with the Diaz property from what I understand. So redistricting, we are in our 4th year of our 5-year phase-in plan of redistricting. Remember, the redistricting phase-in plan was we didn't want to displace any students that were currently attending White House School and have them be redistricted down to Three Bridges in one single school year. Rather, as new students enrolled in kindergarten and as new students enrolled that moved into the district in grades 1 through 3 in the redistricted area of the township, they have been going down to Three Bridges slowly over the course of the past 4 years. So we're entering year 4. So right now, all kindergartners, 1st graders, and 2nd graders at Three Bridges School in that redistricted area of Three Bridges are now at Three Bridges School. Next year will be our final year of our phase-in approach, whereas all K through 3 students who lived in the redistricted area of the township will be at Three Bridges. So our project should be complete at the end of next year. Here are the results. So when I mentioned kindergarten enrollment, as of last week, when I gathered the data, we had 74 students enrolled at White House School and 73 enrolled at Three Bridges School. This is pretty spot on for what we anticipated in terms of how redistricting would balance the class sizes at White House and Three Bridges. Interesting about this, these numbers are higher than they ever have been in the past at this stage of the game. So maybe it's the impact of having preschoolers pre-registered with us this past year, but we don't see 74, 73 students by mid-July already registered for kindergarten. That may fluctuate a little bit between now and the end of the summer. The other thing is Three Bridges enrollment for kindergarten is up higher than Three Bridges class sizes have been in a number of years. They usually hover in the upper 60s, like 68, 66 students. 73 students at Three Bridges School is a good number. But the number of students that have been redistricted is 12 for this current school year. So there are 12 students that would have gone to White House that are going to Three Bridges. So it's a -12 for White House, +12 for Three Bridges. Had we not done redistricting, you can see the difference in class sizes, 86 versus 61. 86 in kindergarten might mean an additional section of teachers at White House School, and 61 might be one less teacher or maybe maintaining at 4 teachers. So you can see what we're trying to do is really balance the class size numbers for the efficiency of the district to make sure that we have equal programs and equal class sizes at White House and Three Bridges. Total impact. Over 3 years, we have redistricted 46 students total from White House to Three Bridges. With redistricting, we're looking at enrollment projections of 259 students at Three Bridges, that's K through 3, and 320 at White House, which is K through 3 as well, preschool not included. Without redistricting, you could see that the difference in total building enrollment would be a lot different, 213 versus 366. So Overall, our redistricting efforts have really tried to maintain the buildings at comparable sizes for equal programming and equal services for students. The question has, now that we're in year 3, right, this is of course, we're maintaining this project. It maintains to be a focused project, but something that we've been talking about recently is making it easier and more accessible for parents and staff members to find out where their child attends elementary school before they even come into the district, while they're looking at homes, talking to realtors, things like that. And we have worked with our tech department to come up with this draft of an interactive map. This interactive map, you can see, highlights the White House side of town in red and the Three Bridges side of town in blue. It includes the redistricted area. But it also, where the green arrow is, it also has a search feature. If you clicked on that search feature and typed in your address, it would pin the address of the home right in the blue or the red section and identify your home as either a Three Bridges attending school or a White House attending school. And this can be used by anyone. It can be a public site that we use. We haven't launched it yet because we want to make sure that we've worked out any issues, any concerns, any homes that are right on the line, and we want to make sure that we have the address right before we make it public. But there would be a search feature so anybody can do the search. And this is being coded and developed by our tech department as we speak. So hopefully we can launch this before the end of the summer, maybe even early in the school year, to be right there front and center on our district website and also be on the website for each of the schools. So this was intended to be just a brief update, but I'll take any questions that the board might have about any of the data or the slides. Okay. That concludes my superintendent report.
Thank you, Dr. Hart.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, moving on to correspondence. We received an email from JC, information for the BOE, and also an email from DF regarding district buses. Moving on to approval of administrative reports. Can we get a motion to adopt 1.01 to 1.04?
Move that. Second, Michelle.
Any questions? Okay, may we get a roll call, please?
Ms. DePinto.
Yes.
Ms. Fiore.
Yes.
Ms. Menzer.
Yes.
Mr. Peach.
Yes.
Ms. Wolf.
Yes.
Dr. Social.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay, moving on to approval of minutes. Can we get a motion to adopt 2.01 to 2.02?
So move that. Second, Jennifer.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Ms. DePinto.
Yes.
Ms. Fiore.
Yes.
Ms. Menzer.
Yes.
Mr. Peach.
Yes.
Ms. Wolf.
Yes.
Dr. Social.
Yes.
Passes.
Moving on to finance and facilities. Can we get a motion to adopt 3.01 to 3.08?
So move that. Second, Michelle.
And we have a committee report. Mrs. Pinto,
Oh,
are you okay reading that? Okay, thank you.
Finance Committee met on Thursday, July 18th. First thing that we discussed was the emergency virtual or remote instruction program plan. This plan requires board approval on an annual basis and will only be used in the case of a health-related emergency closure. Minor changes have been made to the meal services, English language learners, and preschool students portions to bring this plan up to date for the 2024-2025 school year. We then discussed summer 2024 capital projects. Overall, the capital projects are going well. The RMS gym HVAC had unexpected delays in the HVAC work due to extra asbestos work. There's structural work to do in the next 2 weeks, and the roof and the HVAC will be worked on at the same time. The HVAC work should be done by the first week of August. The RMS main office, right now they're securing, the secure fencing will be put up around the main office work area in the next 2 weeks, and the doors to the building will be sealed. The work crews will be working inside the fencing area. Priority will be given to the nurses suite. The lab work and demo will be done by the end of August, and the work will be mostly cosmetic in nature and therefore less noisy when school starts. The furniture has been selected and the lead time is 12 weeks. The sidewalk will be available for drop-off and pickup, and the work area will be mostly out of view. Next, we went over the RMS LED classroom lighting. That project is 90% complete and looks great. The lights are bright now, but will be appropriate levels in the next few weeks. It can take LED lights 2 weeks to a month to dim. The installation will save the district money long-term on utilities. The IT switch and access point project, the upgrade to the equipment is going well and is finishing up on time. The first responder radio enhancement, this project is going very well and is ahead of schedule. The conduit has been pulled through in all buildings. PRAPCO and the radio provider are currently working together on the responder on the roof. And the private preschool provider's new classroom, 5 of the 7 are complete. Global Pioneer will need all of August to get set up, but their classrooms will be ready for September. However, some updates will be ongoing throughout the year. The third item we discussed was tuition reimbursement, RTA contract sidebar. The Finance Committee and the Negotiations Committee discussed an agreement with the RTEA that would provide a one-time additional payment to the RTEA for the purpose of tuition reimbursement. We also discussed the potential referendum and the expiring debt. The committee further discussed a potential referendum for the 2025 ballot that will address the debt that will be expiring. We discussed different options regarding the expiring debt as well as improvements that the referendum could provide for the district and agreed to continue to discuss and move forward with the process. Suggested timelines, if proceeds, would be now through December 2024 to compile construction projects for inclusion in referendum. January through August 2025, architect and consultants to prepare back-end paperwork and public campaign, and then September 2025, or December, January, March, November, the referendum on the ballot. Electric school bus grant, the committee discussed a grant for additional electric school buses. The committee discussed safety concerns and taking necessary precautions to ensure protection of the diesel fleet, as well as training and indirect costs involved in this project. The committee also discussed the need to add more electric buses during the pilot period, and if we should only pilot one to see if it works before increasing our inventory. The committee didn't get to finish their discussion, and it is to be continued due to time constraints. The solar expansion update, the prescription transition update, the discussion on pilot were all tabled due to time constraints. And the finance agenda items and bill list are the emergency virtual plan, non-resident staff tuition agreements, ESC&J transportation agreement, RTEA sidebar, electric school bus grant, ESEA, IDA grants. Next meeting is planned for August 29th at 8:30, and an email has been circulated for late September.
Thank you, Mrs. Pinto. Any questions regarding anything on those minutes? Can we get a roll call?
Oh, I have a
I'm
question. Sorry,
Sure,
Dr. Stella. Item 3.07, is that in reference to what was discussed in the minutes where the discussion didn't get to be finished yet? And is there a deadline where it needs to be voted on tonight, or should we consider a motion to table it until the committee has a chance to discuss further?
So the board previously approved one
Yes.
grant
Mm-hmm.
that was awarded to us, which the bus has been procured for that. A PO has been sent out, as well as a charging station. What the discussion finance committee was about was a separate grant that is potentially for 2 more electric buses with chargers, and whether or not we should proceed with that. That has not been on any agenda item yet. This resolution relates to the first
Okay.
purchase
So these
and to be in compliance with federal law for an audit. So it's already actually on a purchase order that's already been sent.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions or? Excuse me, can we get a roll call, please?
Ms. DePinto.
Yes to everything except for check number 064135 for item 3.01.
Mrs. Fiore.
Yes.
Mrs. Mentor.
Yes.
Mr. Peach.
Yes.
Ms. Wolf.
Yes.
Dr. Seuss.
Yes.
Passes.
Moving on to Ed Tech. Motion to adopt 4.01 to 4.03.
So move, Beth. Second, Michelle.
Okay, we do not have a committee report, so any questions about anything on this at all? No? Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Ms. DePinto,
Yes.
Ms. Fiore,
Yes.
Ms. Menzer,
Yes.
Mr. Beach,
Yes.
Ms. Wolf,
Yes.
Dr. Searcy,
Yes.
passes.
Moving on to personnel. Can we get a motion to adopt 5.02 to 5.15?
So moved, Jennifer?
Second, Beth?
And we have a committee report.
Yes, the committee met on July 1st and discussed staffing updates for 2024-2025, including hires, transfers, and changes in hours. The committee discussed enrollment and redistricting. The district is in the third year of redistricting kindergarten students from White House School to Three Bridges. As of May 2024, White House School has approximately 348 enrollees with 28 in preschool, and Three Bridges School has approximately 289 with 30 in preschool. Dr. Hart will provide an update to the full board, as we heard. Also discussed that CJ Pride has rebranded itself as NJ Stride, a consortium of school districts throughout New Jersey that strives to attain diverse candidates for teaching positions while offering insightful professional development opportunities to its district members. We discussed personnel matters, and agenda items are recommendations to hire, adjustment of staff to full-time, and adjustment of salary. Our next meeting is scheduled for August 13th at 8:45 a.m.
Thank you, Mrs. Mulch. Anyone have any questions at all? Please, anything on the Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Ms. DePinto,
Yes.
Ms. Fiore,
Yes, but abstaining from 5.15?
Ms. Menzer,
Yes.
Mr. Beach,
Yes.
Ms. Wolf,
Yes.
Dr. Searcy,
Yes.
passes.
All right. So, moving on to communication. Can we get a roll call to adopt 6.01 to 6.02?
So move, Beth? Second, Michelle?
Carolyn's not here.
I know.
For the second. That's been the delay. I was like, I'm sorry. And thinking that, we have a committee report, Mr. Peach?
Yes, we do. The committee met on June 19th. Our meeting began with a presentation by Mary Perlow, the board's communications consultant, about her progress with the district's communications action plan. Ms. Perlow shared a written draft of the plan, which included the results of the survey that had been distributed to parents, employees, and community members, and the results of the focus groups Ms. Perlow conducted. Ms. Perlow mentioned that the focus groups were extremely informative and gave many suggestions for improvement in the district's communications. She discussed the goals of the plan, which are: 1, to increase awareness of the district's activities and initiatives; 2, utilizing communication methods to ensure clear, consistent, and accessible communications across all channels; and 3, continuing to build and maintain a positive, inclusive, and supportive school culture. The committee next discussed the progress of the plan and how it will be implemented. Dr. Hart and Ms. Perlow will be meeting this summer to discuss the creation of deadlines and who's responsible for implementing each aspect prior to the plan's launch in September. And Ms. Perlow cautioned that it could take up to 3 years to fully implement the plan. Dr. Hart mentioned wanting to move forward quickly with transitioning to the SMORE platform for our newsletters, board briefs, and community news. There was also discussion about the time remaining on Ms. Perlow's contract, which Dr. Hart will review, and possibly utilizing her for consulting services for the referendum work. Next, we discussed the response from our policy consultant, Strauss Esme, to the committee chair's questions. And Strauss Esme sent us an email in response. One committee member brought up how NJSBA provides model policies to participating districts and whether using NJSBA might be a possible alternative to Strauss Esme. Dr. Hart said he would inquire of districts that use NJSBA and whether they were happy with their policies and report back to the committee. And next, we discussed 2 policies that are on the agenda tonight. The first is policy 1530, equal employment opportunities. And the second policy is 2260, equity in school and classroom practices. And these policies were discussed by the full board at its last meeting. Dr. Hart made further revisions to these policies based on what he felt was the consensus of the board and how to craft policies that were inclusive of all. For policy 1530, Dr. Hart customized it from the version given to us by Strauss Esme to eliminate language which some committee members felt implied we had used incorrect hiring practices in the past. For policy 2260, this was further revised to eliminate the phrase, quote, all sexes, unquote, and instead provide that there would be no discrimination by our district, quote, based on sex, unquote. Dr. Hart pointed out that our comprehensive equity plan would have to match any revisions to this policy. 3 of the 4 committee members indicated they supported these changes from what Strauss Esme had proposed. One member, however, expressed a strong opinion that our district should not deviate from Strauss Esme's recommendations. As Strauss Esme is our paid consultant for these matters, and because our policy should exactly match the code for purposes of the QSAC process. Dr. Hart stated that if changes to our policies did become an issue during the QSAC process, he would have to bring the matter back before the committee. And next, we noted that because policies 1523 and 2260 address all the requirements outlined in policy 5755, policy 5755 can be abolished, and that's on the agenda tonight. Next, we discussed potential township publication. Dr. Hart mentioned that he had learned from a community member that the township has approved a magazine-type publication to promote township news. Dr. Hart has reached out to the township administrator for more details, as this would be an opportunity for us to place school communications in the publication. Next, we discuss advocacy in the pension reform bill. Dr. Hart informed the committee that pension reform bill has been moving forward. And this would reform the pension system for educators in order to promote teacher retention and recruitment. So on the agenda tonight is policy 1530, policy 2260, and to abolish policy 5755. And we schedule our next meeting for July 29th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peach. Any questions about anything on that report? Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Ms. DeVinto,
Yes.
Ms. Fiore,
Yes.
Ms. Menzer,
Yes.
Mr. Peach,
Yes.
Mr. Zepol,
Yes.
Dr. Surziel,
Yes.
passes.
Okay, moving on to unfinished business.
Can we, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
yes.
looks like there's a comment. I don't
Oh,
know if we checked before. I think I failed to check. It looks like there's a comment on
yeah,
it. Can I read it?
yeah, please do.
From Michelle Crayum. Thank you to the board and Dr. Hart for considering and passing 5.15. This means a lot to many teachers and we truly appreciate it. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, thank you for catching that. All right. First, under unfinished business, the board member petitions, just as a reminder that they are due July 29th, coming up, it's a week from Monday, by 4 o'clock. And then also, we had talked about this prior, that the October board meeting is going to be rescheduled to October the 15th, so if you could mark your calendar for that. Do we need any further discussion about either of those things? Any questions about anything on that? No, pretty clear.
Same start time on the
I
15th?
believe so.
The October board meeting starts at 6 p.m. Yeah, 6 p.m. only because we do our New Jersey Student Learning Assessment and other assessment presentation, which is pretty long. So we start early, 6 o'clock.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Any other questions about either of those things? No? We're good? Okay. All right, moving on to new business from the board. Do we have any new business? I can't think of anything. No, I guess we're good. Am I supposed to come up with something?
No,
I
you
don't
don't.
think so.
No, I don't think we had anything.
I think we're
I think
good.
we're good.
All right. Okay,
Summer mode, we're in summer mode.
yeah, summer mode. We're now open to the public for anything on or off the agenda?
I just want to say a quick thank you to the board, echoing Michelle's comments for passing 5.15. It definitely means a lot to the teachers and staff, so thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Vance. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Can I get a motion to move to executive session? Or do I have to read the entire thing first? I always get-
I would read it because there's some specific wording in there.
Got it. Okay. This is a motion to adopt the following resolution, resolve to adjourn to executive session in accordance with the Sunshine Law, Chapter 321 PL 1975, to discuss 3 HIBs and to interview attorneys for approximately 60 minutes, at which time the board expects to return to public session where action may be taken. The matters discussed will be made public if and when the circumstances requiring confidentiality no longer exist. However, it is not presently known when such circumstances will exist.
So move, Beth.
Second. Second, Jennifer.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Ms. Pinto,
Yes.
Ms. Fiore,
Yes.
Ms. Mento,
Yes.
Mr. Peach,
Yes.
Ms. Bull,
Yes.
Dr. Sirciello.
Yes.
Passes.
All right.